Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into a really empowering and honestly liberating concept. It's something that's been popping up everywhere, changing lives. We're talking about the let them theory. It's this surprising secret, really, to building better relationships and, well, just a happier life. And it comes straight from Mel Robbins. Our source material for this deep dive is excerpts from her latest work, The Let Them Theory, a life-changing tool that millions of people can't stop talking about. Pretty bold title.
Yeah, it is. And our mission here for you listening is to pull out the absolute key nuggets from this. We want you to get not just what the theory is, but really why it works, and maybe most importantly, how you can actually use it. Apply it to get more control, find more joy in pretty much all areas of your life.
Okay, so to really get it, we kind of need to understand where Mel Robbins was coming from. Her journey really sets the stage. She talks about being 41, and things were, well, rough. Like $800,000 in debt. She was unemployed. Her husband's restaurant business was just crumbling. She'd tried, gosh, everything. Public defender, lawyer, startups, life coach, radio host, even a pottery studio.
Wow.
Yeah. And she just felt completely lost, just trying to keep her family of five, afloat. And it was out of that sheer desperation that her first big breakthrough came. The 5-second rule. You've probably heard of it.
Oh, yeah, the countdown.
Exactly. That simple 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown.
Yeah.
It became her personal tool. Just to push through anxiety, that feeling of overwhelm, the fear, to just do something, whether it was literally getting out of bed or networking for a job or even like opening the mail that had piled up for months. She says it was incredibly hard those years, but it helped her claw her way back.
It's interesting, though. She was actually really reluctant to share it at first.
Really?
Well, she admits she didn't fully grasp why it worked, like scientifically, and honestly, she just didn't feel qualified to be giving advice,
Yeah, that makes sense. So what changed? The pivotal moment. She's speaking at one of the very first TEDx conferences, walks on stage, sees like 700 people staring back.
Oh, boy.
And bam, full-blown 21-minute anxiety attack right there on stage. She was about 19 minutes in, totally desperate. She had blurted out the 5-second rule, couldn't think of anything else, thought it was the worst moment of her life.
Wow. Talk about pressure.
Right. But then that raw, unplanned share, it went viral. That TEDx talk is like one of the most watched ever.
Incredible.
And people started writing to her, sharing these amazing stories, how 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 changed their lives. People changing jobs, losing 100 pounds, getting sober, launching businesses, even stopping suicides. It was huge.
It really shows something universal, doesn't it? That struggle with motivation, with just getting started. It's not just a few people. It's like a fundamental human thing. And the 5-second rule, because it was so simple, it resonated globally. And it wasn't just self-help fluff either. Doctors, psychologists, they started using it in clinical settings for PTSD, OCD, depression.
That's powerful. It shows it taps into something real in our brains.
Exactly. It's a mechanism, really, for bypassing that initial resistance we all feel.
And she kept at it, didn't she? Like grinding away, speaking at small events, unpaid stuff, getting hives from nerves, all while holding out a full-time job.
Yeah, and she called it writing a dissertation on the science of motivation on the side. That's commitment. Shows how those small, consistent actions really do add up to massive change.
So she really mastered that internal motivation piece. But then what about, well, other people, the chaos they bring, their unpredictable actions? That seems like the next frontier.
Right. And that's exactly the question that led her to this next big idea, the let them theory, which honestly might just change how you approach all your relationships.
Okay, let's get into it. The let them theory. Mel calls it liberating, empowering, a new way to deal with people and build better connections.
Yeah, the core idea boiled down is basically stop wasting your life on things you can't control. It sounds simple, but it's profound. The problem, she argues, isn't really you. It's the huge amount of power you unknowingly hand over to other people by constantly trying to manage their reactions, their opinions of you, even their, totally baffling behavior sometimes.
She uses this great story, really relatable, about her son Oakley's prom night. Her daughter Kendall's the planner, right? Meticulous. But Oakley, well, teenage boy, last minute everything.
Classic.
So Mel, the mom, is trying to control all these details, the corsage for his date, dinner plans for 20 kids. She makes this beautiful corsage, and Oakley just flat out refuses to take it. Yeah. And Mel can't let it go. She's like, can I just bring it to the pre-prom dinner? And that's when Kendall, the daughter, grabs her arm and just says, Mom, if Oakley and his friends want to go to a taco bar for pre-prom, let them.
Out of the mouths of daughters.
Hopefully. Mel pushes back, but it's too small. They'll get soaked if it rains. And Kendall's just like, Mom, let them get soaked. Let them show up wet. Let them eat tacos. It's their prom, not yours. Just drop it.
Wow, that hits home. And it perfectly illustrates this fundamental thing about us humans. We are wired, absolutely hardwired, for a need for control. So when you focus on stuff you can't control what others say, think. You just end up stressed, powerless. But when you shift focus to what you can control,
It's just you, your thoughts, your actions.
exactly, just
Yeah.
your own thoughts and actions, that's where the power is. It's about reclaiming your own agency, really.
Okay, but here's where it gets even more interesting. Let them. That's only half of it. Mel has discovered there's a second, maybe even more crucial part.
Right, there's the flip side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she explains this through, again, her own life.
Yeah.
Feeling left out when some girlfriends went on a trip without her. You know that feeling. Initial insecurity, wondering, what did I do wrong? Feeling hurt.
Oh, totally. That sting of exclusion, it taps right into those deep primal fears we all have, doesn't it? Fear of being abandoned, not being liked, fear that things will fall apart if we're not in charge.
Yeah. And let them kind of confronts those fears directly.
It does.
She uses the seesaw analogy, which I thought was great. Like, when you let that insecurity or jealousy weigh you down, you're giving the other person all the power. You're stuck at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Powerless.
But when you consciously say, okay, let them go on that trip, have that opinion, whatever it is, you free yourself from that weight. It's like pushing off the ground. You go up, the power shifts back.
Right. And that creates space, mental space, to think about your part
Mm-hmm.
and, crucially, what you want to do next.
Which is the let.
Exactly. Let me is all about taking radical responsibility for your own desires, your actions, your happiness. So for Mel, after that trip, it became, okay, let me stop expecting others to always include me. Let me prioritize my own social life. Let me be the one to reach out and plan something. You shift from blame or longing to action.
Okay, let's make this practical. Think about everyday stuff that drives you crazy. Waiting in a long line, traffic jams, someone yapping loudly on their phone next to you.
Or that unsolicited advice from, Uncle Bob at Thanksgiving.
Yeah. How often do those things just automatically hijack your mood, make you feel stressed, powerless?
Well, Dr. Agidi, who studies stress, explains that when you're stressed like that, your brain literally goes into survival mode, fight or flight kicks in. And in that state, you can't access your goals, your dreams, your best self. Your brain's just scanning for threats. Let them. Helps you hit the reset button, get back to normal functioning, reclaim that power.
Mel tells this story about being on a plane trying to work, and the guy in front just would not stop coughing, like hacking constantly.
Ugh, yeah, been there.
Right. And she felt bad for him, sure, but mostly it was just ruining her focus, her mood, making it impossible to get anything done.
And that's the perfect example. You cannot control the coughing. You just can't. But what can you control?
Your reaction.
Your reaction. Exactly.
Yeah.
Taking a few deep breaths, for instance.
Yeah.
That's not just calming woo-woo. It's science. It stimulates the vagus nerve.
Oh, what nerve?
The vagus nerve. It's like a superhighway connecting your brain to lots of organs. Deep breaths activate it, send an all-clear signal to your brain, and directly calm that fight or flight thing. So by saying, let me take a breath, you reset, get back in control, and then you can choose how to respond intentionally. Put on headphones, maybe.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, what about something tougher, like other people's opinions of you? What if you could just let them think whatever the heck they want to think? She says that's life-changing.
Yeah, freeing yourself from that burden. And this is where that frame of reference idea comes in handy. You mentioned it earlier from Lisa Bilyeu.
Right. Explain that a bit more.
It's basically understanding where someone else is coming from, their background, their experiences, their fears. It doesn't mean you agree, but it helps create understanding instead of just a power struggle.
Mel uses this really touching example with her own mom. When Mel got married to Chris, her mom was really resistant at first because it meant Mel would move far away to the East Coast.
Ah, okay.
30 years ago, Mel just felt hurt, defensive. But looking back, using let them and understanding her mom's frame of reference, she realized her mom wasn't judging her choices. Her mom was grieving losing her daughter nearby. She loved her, didn't want her far away.
Wow, that reframes it completely. See, both perspectives are kind of right from their own frame, right?
Yeah.
Mel's excitement, the mom's sadness.
Exactly. No need for a fight, just acceptance, maybe even deeper connection. Because you get it. You don't have to change their mind.
You just have to understand their position.
Amen. The solution is clear. You let them think what they want, which gives you the freedom to do what you want. Align your actions with your values. Make yourself proud.
And when you're truly proud of yourself, deep down, what other people think just doesn't hold the same weight. It's a massive shift.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. Let's talk difficult relationships. Specifically, other people's big emotional reactions. Mel calls it when grown-ups throw tantrums.
Yeah. Because let's be real, adults can be just as emotional as kids sometimes. And the key insight here is it is not your job to manage their reaction.
That feels freeing, but hard.
It is, but the approach is just let them react. Just let them, give them space for their feelings without feeling you have to jump in, fix it, argue, absorb it. And then comes the crucial part. Let me do what's right for me, even if it upsets them. That's how you protect your peace. Take responsibility for your own life.
What about things like the silent treatment? That feels so childish.
Totally immature. It comes from not knowing how to handle emotions healthfully. Mel's advice, anytime an adult acts like an 8-year-old, let them. It disengages you from their drama. It's honestly life-changing.
Is there science behind just letting emotions be?
Yeah, absolutely. Emotions are basically bursts of chemicals in your brain. They rise and fall naturally within about 90 seconds if you don't fuel them with more thoughts or judgments.
90 seconds, that's it.
Roughly, yeah. If you just observe it without reacting. Of course, things like being hungry, tired, stressed, under the influence, lonely, angry, the HALT acronym. Plus, some can definitely amplify those reactions, make the tantrums more likely.
This stuff also applies to those really gut-wrenching decisions, right? Like calling off a wedding or choosing a career your parents hate,
Yeah.
knowing it will cause pain.
Absolutely. The theory acknowledges that huge emotional weight for everyone involved. It doesn't make the decision easy, but it clarifies your responsibility, which is to your own truth, ultimately.
Okay, another big one. Comparison. When comparison is torturing you, Mel says, look, comparing is natural. We all do it. The problem isn't the comparing itself.
It's what you do with it.
Right.
Are you using it to beat yourself up? Or is it actually teaching you something, sparking something? She makes this really important distinction. Are you obsessing over stuff you genuinely cannot change about someone else? Like their natural body type, maybe inherited money, some innate talent they have? That's just self-torture. It gets you nowhere.
Right. Versus comparing in areas where you can actually make changes.
Exactly. Where you can grow. She uses her daughter Sawyer comparing herself to her younger sister Kendall. Totally different body types, different talents. Kendall's a singer. Sawyer tortures herself over these fixed things.
For what's the alternative?
The alternative is let them have their success. Let them beat you to it. Seriously. Their success doesn't shrink the pie. It actually shows you what's possible. It gives you a kind of roadmap, a formula. You can flip that jealousy into inspiration. The people you compare yourself to, they can be like mirrors, reflecting back bigger possibilities for you if you let them.
Mel tells a story about being super jealous of a friend's huge house renovation.
Yeah.
She was struggling financially at the time, but she realized eventually it wasn't about the friend's fancy house. It was about her own unfulfilled desires, her own lack of consistent action towards her own goals. It took her like 15 years of hard work to get her own version of success, her queen-size bunk beds, as she calls them.
Right. It shows that what looks like overnight success rarely is. And sometimes that pang of jealousy is the kick you need to get serious about your own stuff.
Okay, let's talk friendships. Adult friendships, they're different, aren't they? She talks about the great scattering, people move, schedules clash, life stages diverge.
Yeah, it gets harder. And she breaks it down into 3 key pillars for adult friendships. Proximity, are you physically near each other? Timing, do your life rhythms allow for connection? And energy, do you both have the capacity and willingness to invest?
That makes sense.
And there's research, like the 200-hour rule, suggesting it takes around 200 hours of interaction to build a close friendship, which is,
Wow.
200 hours. Yeah, and think about it. Most adults spend way more time with colleagues than friends or even family, so that intentional effort, it becomes absolutely crucial.
Mel shared a really painful story about her neighborhood friend group changing, feeling excluded. And she had to admit, looking back, her own negativity, her passive approach, kind of contributed.
That takes guts to admit.
For sure. But she realized it often isn't personal when friendships fade. It's usually just shifts in those pillars. Proximity, timing, energy. Someone moves, has a baby, gets a demanding job. But that can lead to this fear, right? Okay, I've let them drift, but now I have no friends.
Right. It's a valid fear. But Mel points out, when you let them be who they are, people reveal themselves. You might find some relationships were pretty one-sided, and letting them go frees you up for connections that are actually reciprocal.
So it's not a dead end.
No, because then comes the let me find new friends part. She moved to a new town at 54 and used the strategy. Give it a year.
Give it a year.
Meaning, expect it to take time. Intentionally put yourself out there consistently for a whole year without expecting instant besties.
And part of that is what she calls the habit of going first.
Yes. Being the one to initiate. Say hello, introduce yourself, offer your number, even if it feels awkward. She started doing this at her local coffee shop, just chatting with people, and realized potential friends were all around. She just hadn't been looking or initiating.
So it's about building that social scaffolding, as she puts it, little by little.
Exactly. Loneliness is real, absolutely. But you're not stuck. Those small, sometimes awkward moments of reaching out, they build connections over time. That's how you find your people. It's an active thing.
Okay, let's pivot to finding love, which, let's be honest, feels really hard these days, like a game or a competition, especially with apps.
It really can feel that way. But a key insight here is about bravery. And bravery in dating, Mel argues, means being authentically you, and crucially, recognizing disinterest when you see it. Think about it. If someone is genuinely into you, you'll know. You won't be confused, analyzing texts, making excuses for them. If you're confused, that's your answer right there. You're likely giving your power away, trying to make something fit that doesn't.
So the let them strategy for dating is pretty direct.
Very direct. Let their behavior be the clear message, period.
Yeah.
Meaning, let them not text you back, let them make promises drunk and not follow through, let them be inconsistent, and then the powerful part. Let me see them for who they really are. Let me accept the truth their behavior is showing me. I am not a priority for them.
Oof, that's tough. But clear. Stop the chase. See the reality.
Exactly. It saves you so much time and heartache, and it forces you to ask, what kind of relationship do you actually deserve? The best ones grow, they change, you support each other to become better versions of yourselves. You co-create something beautiful, not this constant chasing or fixing.
Okay, this next one feels huge. Influencing change in others, especially when it's someone you love, maybe their health, their choices, you wish someone would change. There's so much love there, but also so much stress.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the hardest things. But why is change so hard for people even when we see they need it? Well, change is often painful. It means overriding deep habits, feelings. And remember that hardwired need for control.
Yeah.
When you pressure someone, it triggers their resistance, their survival instincts kicks in. It becomes a battle over control, not about the change itself. They just dig their heels in deeper.
So pressure backfires. What's the alternative?
Influence, not pressure. You can inspire change without trying to control their behavior, and you do that by changing your approach.
Yeah.
She offers this practical tool, the ABC loop. It's designed to inspire change, not force it.
Okay, ABC loop. Break it down.
Right. A is apologize, then ask open-ended questions. The apology isn't admitting fault, it's just softening the entry. Like, hey, can we talk? I apologize if this is awkward, but when X happens, I feel Y. From your perspective, what's going on there? It neutralizes tension, invites them to reflect, no blame.
Okay. Apologize and ask. What's B?
B is back off and observe their behavior. You've said your piece calmly, now step back. No nagging, no reminding, just watch. Does their behavior shift even slightly over the next few weeks? Give them space to own it.
Got it. Back off and observe. And C.
C is celebrate progress while you continue to model the change. If they do make an effort, acknowledge it. Hey, thanks so much for giving me that heads up. I really appreciate it. Positive reinforcement wires the brain towards pleasure, and crucially, you keep modeling the behavior you want to see. Be reliable if you want reliability, etc.
ABC. Apologize, ask. Back off, observe. Celebrate, continue modeling. That makes sense. But what if? What if they just don't change, even after all that?
That leads to a really hard truth, especially with things like addiction or deep-seated issues. You cannot want someone else's sobriety or healing or health more than they do. Sometimes you have to let them struggle.
That feels counterintuitive, like giving up.
It feels that way, but experts like Dr. Robert Waldinger from the big Harvard study and psychologists like Dr. Luana Marquez, they emphasize this. Allowing natural consequences is often essential for growth. If you constantly rescue someone from the consequences of their actions, they never learn. Avoiding pain, like Mel's daughter slipping on the floor to avoid anxiety, actually makes the problem worse long-term. It teaches avoidance, not resilience. Sometimes hitting rock bottom is the only thing that sparks genuine change.
So this includes tough love scenarios, like let them violate the terms of your support and then let me cut them off financially.
Exactly. It can mean that. Mel talks about when her husband Chris's business was failing, they were drowning in debt. His brother refused to lend him more money. That was the rock bottom. It forced Chris to figure it out himself because there was no other option. Painful, yes. Necessary for his growth. Also, yes.
So after you've tried the ABC loop, you've tried to influence. If nothing changes with a core issue, a deal breaker,
Hmm.
then what?
Then, Mel says, you have a stark choice. End your bitching or end the relationship. Harsh, maybe, but honest. You either find a way to accept the situation as it is, or you choose to leave.
That reminds me of Dr. Gottman's research, the marriage expert.
Yes, the Gottman Institute. His research from the Love Lab is fascinating. It shows that something like 69%, huge number of relationship problems are actually perpetual. They aren't really solvable.
69%, wow.
Yeah. The key isn't fixing them, it's how you manage them, how you navigate those fundamental, unresolvable differences. If you simply cannot accept them and they violate your core needs or values, then the choice really becomes yours. Acceptance or exit.
Okay, let's talk about the aftermath of that sometimes. Heartbreak. She calls it one of the absolutely hardest things we go through.
Totally. And she really pushes back on that common advice, just love yourself. Because as she points out, when you're heartbroken, you often kind of hate yourself. It doesn't land.
So what does help?
Well, her therapist, Anne, recommends a strict no contact for 30 days rule, at minimum, just to stop reactivating those old neural pathways, give yourself breathing room. And research suggests it takes at least 3 months, often longer, to really grieve a significant loss. And so the message is, let me grieve. Let me feel the sadness. Let me cry. Let me tell the story. Let me resist reaching out. It's okay to be depressed for a bit. It's a healthy response to loss, not a weakness. You have to feel it to heal it.
And then when you're maybe starting to emerge from that raw grief.
Then come the practical steps. She suggests things like refresh your bedroom new sheets, rearrange furniture, make it feel like your space again, actively reach out to friends, family, don't isolate, fill your calendar, even with small things, pick a personal challenge, run a 5K, learn guitar, something just for you. And maybe the most powerful question to ask yourself, if you knew the love of your life was just around the corner, how would you spend your nights and weekends while you're single? It reframes this time not as waiting, but as valuable preparation, living fully now.
Wow. Okay, so wrapping this all up, what's the big takeaway? It feels like the let them theory, maybe counterintuitively, is really about how you treat yourself.
That's exactly it. At the end of the day, it boils down to let them be them so you can finally let me be me.
You're giving yourself permission.
You are. You don't need anyone else's approval to be happy, to chase your dreams, to live the life you actually want, everything you're looking for. It really does start with you, taking responsibility for your own happiness, your own actions.
I like the analogy she uses of the sky. It's always changing, sunny, cloudy, stormy. You can't control the weather.
Nope. Can't change the weather.
But you can absolutely decide how it affects you. You decide if that comment from someone makes you doubt yourself. You decide if a string of bad dates makes you lower your standards or raise them. You decide if someone else's success crushes you or fuels you. The power shifts back to you.
Which brings up a really important question for you listening right now. What's the actual cost of not using this theory? Think about all that energy you waste fighting reality, wishing things were different, wishing people would change, the frustration, the stress. And maybe even more significant, what about the missed opportunities, the cost of not using Let Me, the career you didn't try for because someone doubted you, the book you didn't write, the risk you shied away from? Can you really afford to keep paying that price for your peace and your potential?
Look, this isn't easy. Let's be real. Repatterning years, maybe decades of behavior. It's not like you start saying, let them today and tomorrow, your life is perfect.
No, it takes practice, consistent practice.
The second you start taking your power back, the second you shift focus from controlling others to controlling yourself, you can know deep down that it's just a matter of time. That career, that partner, those friends, that goal, it's now in your hands, your control. So welcome to your let me era. Let me get started. Let me take that risk. Let me be honest about what I really want. Let me create a better life, a life that, makes me proud.
Yeah. So the thought to leave you with is this. What would it truly look like for you, starting today, to fully step into your Let Me era, knowing the ripple effect it could have on your relationships, your peace, your sense of control, your overall joy? What's the first step you can take?